Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is July 3rd, and I am in Bangalore. I made my way to Bangalore via New Delhi. And for those who have followed me regularly, know that I had to attend to a family emergency. I lost my brother in law, and there was a prayer meeting held in New Delhi. So, I did all that. And over the last few days, made my way via New Delhi finally to Bangalore. And as it turns out, over the last few days, I did not record any of the daily doses of Rashmi. However, I did keep up with my regular practice, as I have shared in the past. The practice is more for me. So I did keep up with the daily insights, and that's my morning practice, practice of inspiration. And I pen down a dose of Rashmi. So for those who are interested in those, the doses of Rashmi that I arrived at over the last few days will be available through the newsletter and blogs. So do check that out. And over the last 2 or 3 days, as I was arriving at the daily doses of Rashmi, something interesting has been started emerging. The daily doses of Rashmi all start coming together on how an integrated intelligence organization operates, such that what I've talked about in the past as Rashmi three-layer attention identity architecture, how does that apply at an organizational level? For those of you who have already played with the mirror, you do know that that is one of the stages of the mirror where it helps you get clarity on what is it that you are identified with, and is that identity coming in the way of your growth. So same concept applies at an organizational level, and that is how the daily doses of Rashmi have been coming together over the last few days. So I've decided that the rest of July is pretty much going to be about an integrated intelligence organization and how the three-layer Rashmi attention identity architecture applies in the organizational context. So with that, let's go ahead and get started for today. Today's dose of Rashmi is: an integrated intelligence organization is always willing to adapt the shared narrative to create the environment to help the team reach its full potential, and not force the team to fit to operate within an arbitrarily fixed shared narrative. So the dose of Rashmi clearly illustrates the three-layer Rashmi identity architecture at an organizational level. What ends up happening in most organizations, there is a shared narrative that brings the team together, and it is absolutely powerful. As you will know, Harari has said, that is our secret human superpower, that we can work together in large numbers and get behind a shared fiction. So, shared organizational narrative is effectively a shared fiction that binds the group of humans together. So, it is absolutely great. We are huge advocates of having shared organizational narratives to bring the team together. However, when the market changes, when there is a transition, and right now most of the organizations are going through that with AI, at that point, what ends up happening is, if you are not willing to adapt, and now that is a throwback to Venturi's mindset, the adaptability in Venturi's mindset. If you are not willing to adapt and you are identified with the narrative that can no longer address the market because the conditions have changed, then you're going to force the team to operate within an arbitrarily fixed narrative. And that invariably creates a condition where the business starts declining. There is a lot of stress and anxiety. And that is where an integrated intelligence organization will recognize that the shared narrative is just an identity that the organization has taken on to help the humans work together to achieve their highest potential. And if it is no longer serving that, change it. That is where, going back to the PM squared, starting with the purpose. When the external conditions change, your purpose is unlikely to change. So go back to the purpose. You may have to launch some new products. You may have to address some new customer segment. And that is what will get you to continue delivering profitable results. That is PM squared in a nutshell. Launch a new product, go after a new customer segment, and that'll take care of the top line and bottom line automatically. That is what we envision as the future of work, and that is how we expect integrated intelligence organizations to operate. We are modeling that at the RASHMI.ai and helping other organizations operate that way by creating the tools to help other organizations operate at the same level. So stay tuned for more on this. This entire month's going to be about how an integrated intelligence organization can operate at the layer 3 of the RASHMI identity architecture. Thank you.